Hello, friends. September 6th? Yes, probably, hopefully. It's Friday afternoon. Hope you're having a great week. It is absolutely beautiful and sunny out here. I got to turn off these feeds. I always have the live feed going in the background to make sure it's working, and then it always throws me off when I hear myself talking a few seconds later. Anyway, beautiful sunny day over here in the Pacific Northwest. My wife's best friend is getting married on our farm tomorrow morning, so it is an absolute beehive of people right now. Luckily, I get to hide up in the office and talk to you guys. So we'll take a look at the general market, we'll take a look at SPY, we'll take a look at some tickers and see what's going on. Dinsey has called out a 298.38 close. So we got an angry Dinsey up here watching that level. I've got the horizontal price right there. We can see how accurate she is, taking bets on over under. Feel free to jump into that. And then we'll get started on those tickers. So let's go ahead and do that. Take a look at SPY on the 5-minute time frame. Not unexpected action after yesterday's craziness. So if we go look at that daily time frame, we had that big higher open. We saw a big upper and lower wicks, a lot of volatility, and we need time to rest after you see that sort of thing happen. This is a nice inside bar that we get. So what we can do is go ahead and mark out those inside bar levels, and in a perfect world, in an ideal scenario, of course, we open inside that range on Monday. Unlikely, but we love to see those inside bar breaks from real trading action. We don't want to open higher because that just sort of negates the whole process of what we're trying to do with those inside bars. So we have a nice tight range today. Again, not unexpected after yesterday's big action. So on the 4-hour time frame, bulls have set a new higher high. Now we need to expect a higher low. Hourly time frame, nice and tight. Almost an ascending wedge formation here just because we're getting that lower high, slightly higher high, but you can see how that range is tightening up. And that is either going to obviously break one of two ways, or I guess you could just go sideways forever. But you need to watch over that consolidation. Daily time frame, our RSI, is happy right at 59.08, so anything could happen with Twitter fingers doing his thing. 70.89 is the 4-hour resistance, so that's where that slowdown comes from. And now we need to set that higher low. 5-minute time frame, Chop City, all over the place. Big dump this morning, recovery. Slow meandering drop to 297.77 recovery, and now we are watching the Dinsey avatar angrily staring at the 298.38, trying to see who is going to win, and I will be very impressed if it closes directly on that. So let's go take a look at some other stuff. Bitcoin today, that was an interesting reaction. Was it a reaction to the Fed news? We're not really sure, I guess. But the timing is very suspect. We had that big drop, 5-minute time frame. We got a perfect oversold bounce all the way down to 10,250, even beautiful psychological level. And we had a great bounce right off that. There's that RSI stack alert showing you what's up. And then we had a little bit of an EQ that is so far broken bare without much follow through. So we'll keep an eye on that 1226 strategy, see if we can get over those levels. And if bulls can't pull something off here to recover from what is otherwise a pretty irrational drop. So keep a close eye on that. I'll get out of these cryptos. Go take a look at XLF. XLF on the 5, very similar early start, big sell-off, dip buying, 27.56 resistance, so double top from pre-market, so that's going to be a key level for us to get over in the short-term time frame. But we have a 5-minute downtrend currently intact, trying to set something over that EMA level. Only support really is a 27.34 level on the 5, and we'll keep a close eye on that. And yeah, a little bit of a downtrend intact for XLF. XLK on the 5-minute time frame, likely very similar because SPY is following a similar pattern, and when all these sectors trade in tandem, that tends to have that influence on SPY. And here we see that same thing happening. Current 5-minute support 81.30, and we have a double top at 81.79. If we're going to see any sort of action to get over Dinsey's magical level, we're going to need to break that 81.79 double top resistance on the 5-minute time frame for XLK. On the daily time frame, another inside bar, 82.78 key resistance for the XLK long-term bulls. And going back to XLF, a lot more way to go. What a messy chart. That's kind of embarrassing. 28.72, we need to get over that level. Of course, high day is going to be yesterday's high, 27.68 resistance. And then we I probably confused you. I meant to say that the daily resistance is going to be yesterday's high day. But if we get over that level, there's not a lot in the way here. We dropped pretty quickly over here on the first, so possible for bulls to show up in a big way, keep things moving, and have a lot of fun. Oil on the daily time frame, another messy chart. Remove all of those indicators. Here we see bulls really trying to make a go of things, getting over that 57.10 level. We've set a high, we've got a higher low. Now we need to see if we can change this daily trend and get out of this weird weekly EQ that we're seeing. On the hourly time frame, how are we looking? A little bit of chop. Of course, that volatility is not unexpected with that Fed news throwing everything a little bit out of whack. Sort of a head and shoulders here, but completely negated by this pop to the upside with a current high at 56.91. We need to see if bulls can establish a new higher low, and the last low is 54.81. I'm going to turn off that RSI stack. 54.81 is our current low, so bulls just need to keep that party going by staying over that level and see if they can't turn this hourly trend into a 4-hour uptrend with a high over 57.72. So that's what we're looking at. In other markets, MJ's been having a lot of fun. Let's go ahead and check that out. APHA, CGC, CWEB, those guys have been doing really well. When I'm checking in on them, I'm going to take a look at TNDM. Someone had messaged me about that earlier. No pizzazz quite yet. We're really looking for a break over 74.81 on TNDM. We didn't get that EQ that we wanted up there. Instead, we've dropped, so we have to basically just wait till the next opportunity. So let's take a look at some tickers for you guys. Gonna move my browsers all around, and here we are. Lori commented that Snap's got a lot of unusual call activity, and there's a big solid green day today. Daily resistance 1674, so we do need to be watching that. Hourly time frame, RSI's happy at 57.58, but you know, with a big green candlestick like this, your 4-hour is likely, so your hourly is likely to be overbought. 67.24, 4-hour RSI. We are establishing higher lows. Looks like we are still inside this 4-hour higher high, higher low pattern. So nothing out of the ordinary here. We do need to see a pullback. It would be lovely to see that closer to that 1674, establish a higher low, and get up. Look for a small sub-time frame area of congestion or resistance here, and then smash through that level there. Hourly RSI overbought 75.53. Definitely need to see some consolidation. And on the 5-minute time frame, nice and healthy all day. Actually, we get our high, a low, a series of higher lows, respecting that EMA 12, and that 26 was just held all morning, all afternoon, and good green volume coming in on every opportunity. So watch for that hourly consolidation, and be very patient and aware of that daily resistance break should we get there in the next few days if the market continues to be happy. Let's take a look at BFFTO. All right. Well, I got no idea what this yellow line was for. It's probably important at one point, but there we go. VFF on the daily time frame. Nice green day. We're seeing a lot of the MJ related tickers, assuming this is one, of course, but of course it is Village Farms. All right, almost closing a Maribuzo candlestick right now. Not a lot of resistance on the daily time frame until we get over here with this little pop to 17.56. So another $2 run would get us into that area. Would be quite a bit, so probably sometime this week if we continue to the upside here for the daily bulls. RSI right in mid-range. Very happy where it is. No reason to slow down quite yet. And we're seeing the nice stair-stepping action on the hourly time frame, and that's going to be more reflected on that 15-minute time frame. We're getting our highs, establishing base of support here at 14.95. 14.98 respects that support, and again 15.04 before we get a nice move to the upside. So 15-minute resistance is currently at $15.90, coiling very, very nicely with almost 40 minutes left to go in the day. Actually, we got over that. 15.92, that's going to be our resistance bulls on the 15-minute time frame, rather the 5-minute time frame even. Need to stay above 15.54 for more upside continuation. But where are we overbought? Just barely on the hourly time frame. Very comfortable, I think. Taking a look at LABS, the greatest ticker I ever bought. All right, LABS doing well in the daily time frame. We are seeing some profit taking here at the end of the day, or maybe, well, sometime today. We are seeing that profit taking. Not exactly sure when it occurred. And that's really a good lesson, because if you're looking at these tickers and you're just basing all of your decision making on the macro candlesticks to represent that sub time frame action, you're going to miss out on a lot of information, because you need to go into that time frame. You need to look at what happened on the 15-minute scale during the day that resulted in this action, because that's going to really dictate the momentum and the story and the entire trading narrative about what's happening there. So yeah, go check out your time frames, look at what's going on. Was this profit taking in the last 5 minutes, or was this something that happened very, very early today that we've recovered from? Two very, very different stories. All right. If the bulls can manage to maintain themselves above EMA 26 on the daily time frame, with this profit taking, I want to see that held as a support in the next couple trading periods. For this profit taking to be here, we do need to establish that base of support, because the confidence isn't here for great just automatic continuation you would expect to see with the momentum behind, like a Marabuzzo close or something like that. Volume is nice. We need to see a back test for support, and we need to keep on moving. 4-hour time frame, we need to see that higher low. That would likely come into play around, let's go say 510. So let's go mark out what that would be theoretically. Let's just call it 510. Go back to our daily time frame. That would have us coming down in the area of our EMA 12. Not the back test I would like to see, but that would be a good what's that, a 4-hour higher low. And on the hourly time frame, very nice moves. LABS doing well, needing to establish a higher low over the last low. I want to see us come down and hold and test something above a low of $5.05. But keep in mind, we've been relatively respecting the hourly EMA 26, which looks a bit more. I'm just trying to find what we're actually using here. And there you go. 15-minute EMA 12 is the magic line for LABS. Okay. Shop, not great. It actually gapped down on the 5-minute time frame. So that's a pretty impressive thing when you are able to gap down on a 5-minute time frame. Anyway, shop on the daily time frame holding EMA 12, so that is good. We really need to maintain that level. We need to see it like really with that sort of 5-minute action. That needs to confirm as support. If we lose EMA 12 on the daily time frame, we haven't been below that since the beginning of August, and we've been respecting that EMA 12 since that time. I'd be pretty bearish if we do lose that level. On the 4-hour time frame, we are setting up a very, very bizarre head and shoulders pattern, and I used to hesitate to call everything head and shoulders pattern because it didn't fit that narrative, but something that Dan has always harped on me, we've argued about for years, that finally I have to concede that he was correct, is that, you know, you don't need that technical textbook perfect pattern. All you need to know is that you had a high, you had a higher high, and then you failed to get a higher high. And that just says the story, or sets the story rather, that the bulls are no longer in control and everything that has led up to this moment has shifted. Are we going to go down? Maybe. Are we going to go sideways? Maybe. But what was happening here is no longer going to stay the course. So we have to be open to changes in the market and use these visual representations to help us make those sort of recognitions. But yeah, let's check out the 5-minute time frame. There's that gap down. That's kind of scary. Still happening. RSI is at 25.56, big volume, so potential volume climax here. If we go to the 2-minute time frame, do we get any more information? I'm even going to zoom into 30 seconds. We get a small initial bounce, and of course, if bulls are going to do anything and carry this into a real bounce in the 5-minute time frame, same rules apply. Need to be over that EMA 12. This is a pretty substantial volume, though, so I'll be keen to watch this and see what happens on the shop 2-minute time frame. Let's come back to that one. ACB. Try to figure out who looks better. TSX looks better, so I'm going to be using that one. ACB, very, very nice to see my MJ friends having some green days. EMA 26 has been a pretty major obstacle for us. We've been able to get over that before. We were able to do that on the 6th, but look at the big profit taking that had occurred on that day. So many bag holders get an opportunity to get out, so everyone who bought during this collapse over here, I can call it that, that's what this profit taking has come from. So we need to see more accumulation distribution. We need to see that basis support being established. So shares trading hands, and it's sort of taking place down here, hopefully. Now with our bulls over the EMA 26, a little bit of profit taking, of course, today. We need to see that back test. We need to see that hold support. Otherwise, we're just going to be looking for a lower high in the weekly time frame, because we've got a lot of work to do to change this story, don't we? On the daily, things looking good for the short term. We need to see a higher high, our last low, a higher low over $7.22. So quite a range for us to go through, almost a whole dollar here on the daily. But looking up, being optimistic. We got to stay optimistic and hope for a long-term change for ACB. No real signs of slowdown quite yet. Let's check out the 15-minute time frame, see what is happening here. A beautiful pennant forming, so that's okay profit taking as far as I'm concerned, because it's not really profit taking, is it? We just had a massively overbought situation. Our RSI in the 15 is got to be, yeah, we're up in the 87s, and had slightly cooled off, but we hit 87. That's crazy on the 15-minute time frame. So watching our basis support developing, $8.01, so basically $8 psychological, and we've got a triple test at $8.02. So my bet would just be on $8 psychological. May not get down there with all of that basis support established, and I would look for break of $8.10. So ACB bulls having a very good day, giving us a nice tight trading range for the last half hour of the day. And the break here often will dictate the initial action that you're going to see on Monday, if I make it. These wedding people are trying to break into my office right now to get things that they forgot. Don't worry, I'm not going to let them in. You and I will survive together. CRWD. All right, CrowdStrike Holdings, big red day. Yesterday's trading action saw us make an attempt at that EMA 1226 confluence, and that's really when those two averages sort of combined together, and we saw a pretty bad reaction. I'm assuming it was earnings related, because we got a nice little E here tipping me off. Of course, I should look at that before I even do anything, right? I won't tell anyone if you won't. All right, daily action bringing us all the way down. We don't really have any support on the daily time frame until 75.20, and if we go look for our low a day, 75.31, so very, very close to that. We need that to hold, and we need that to confirm as a basis support if we're going to see any sort of long-term movement. And I am really all about that basis support. If you're going to look down here and just take a wild gamble and go long, you know what, maybe it jumps tomorrow, but that's not TA. TA gives us the feedback and the information that we need. Sorry, alarm's going off here. It allows us to make decisions based on evidence. And I prefer not to roll the dice. I would like to see bulls defend 75.20 or that range before making a long entry. But pretty bearish overall on the daily time frame. RSI is not oversold, 38.54. But with this gap down, we need to start just being aware of what sort of historical levels of resistance we can rely on. Hourly time frame, there's that initial bounce. We don't really have a lot of feedback quite yet, but we are in a very, very bearish 15-minute downtrend, consistently setting these lower highs, lower lows. So our current low, of course, is going to be the low of this candlestick, 75.31. We can go ahead and mark that in as well, and likely we will come down and test that if we cannot break to a new high over 77.18. That's the trading range you got to worry about, and you can use your 2-minute time frame to get a heads up on what's going on there. So far, beaten down by EMA 12, and looks like a support test maybe on deck within the next half an hour here for CRWD. In fact, I'm going to check on it later. Let's see how Tesla did. Still inside that range. That is a powerful zone of resistance that Tesla has. If they can get over that, it's going to be a pretty good run. Silver. I'm going to cover silver in detail in my daily video, but we'll look at the short term in case that is what you are interested in. Silver on the, let's start with the hourly time frame. Resistance 1759, and we're starting to see a little bit of a slowdown, so let's go to that 15-minute time frame. So we've got a little bit of a support trying to be established here with our low at 1680. 5-minute time frame. What is that going to do for us? Possibly setting up a descending triangle pattern. The slope is too aggressive. If we just drew this in, it would already be broken with no real follow through, so that means your pattern is not correct. So you need to reassess and keep your eyes open. Effectively, we're just being held down by the EMA 12. So if that breaks and we get a new high over top of, what is our high here? 1694, we have the possibility of getting a little bit of bounce underway on probably, the 15 hourly time frame. But I will get into the more longer term projections for silver when I do that video for you guys. XBI. Did we not do this guy? No, we did not. XBI on the daily. Overall, daily downtrend is going to look a lot better on that weekly downtrend. So weekly, we have set that new lower low. We are looking for a lower high on the weekly. 2 indecision weeks here in a row. So really, next week, I'm just going to be looking for a break over 80.97 to signify that we're on the upswing inside that pattern, and that it's going to have us breaking our key level as well as our EMA 12 on the daily. That is being that resistance that we're seeing right now. So get over those 2 things, and then we've got a good opportunity for a weekly upswing. On the hourly time frame, bulls are in control, but we are seeing that major area resistance here. 80, 85. Not sure why my magnets aren't working now. There we go. 80, 86 is going to be hourly resistance. Looks like we got a triple top, quadruple top. So pretty substantial. We need to be keeping a very, very close eye on this. And it looks like it's actually 80, 88. But you know what? When you get multiple rejections from a level that don't have that decimal point perfection, you just have to remember that you've got a zone of resistance up here. It's not going to be defined by a single decimal point. It's going to be defined by the fact that you've rejected multiple times, and you need to get through that cloud of, what's the word I'm looking for? Negativity. I'm going to call it negativity. It's a big, mean bear is holding you down. We need to get through that before we can move to the upside on the XBI. That is what needs to take place. 80, 88 is so far the high for that resistance, and then getting over that would allow us to possibly change that 4-hour trend with a break above 81.52, and then carry that over the daily and weekly, and things start to look beautiful. NFLX. Netflix on the daily, still underneath that terrible, omnipresent EMA 12, and we did not even break yesterday's high day level, and looks like we actually came down to hold another support test. What is our low today? 287.03, 287.20 was our absolute low from the other day, so we actually broke that by a little bit. That's not good, but bulls buying that dip. Sometimes you look at these and you just say, I've got no idea, because we've been chopping around so much, and that's okay. That's why we zoom in and we look for clues on the sub time frames. All we know right now is we need to get over EMA 12, or we're going to be in that downtrend, and we need to wait for that opportunity to strike and let that trade come to you and get ready for it. So we do have that base of support. I would go in at this point and start drawing in that cloud of support and using it similar to how we do it over on Tesla. I'll draw that for you. I've been drawing this one in my videos, and I use this as a gauge for, am I in a zone of resistance or support or not? And I can tell that every time I go into one of these zones, just because I am breaking a key level, it doesn't matter, because I still have this big weight of cloud of bearish pressure holding us back. That's what we need to get through before we can actually expect any substantial action. So over here, we still have this base of support, even though we're setting lower lows by a few decimal points here and there. There is that base of support being established, and we need to prove conclusively that we are in a new direction before we can start making long-term decisions. And I realize I just said a lot. I talked a lot, but probably didn't say much. All right, hourly time frame. A little bit of chop. High 294.11. Bulls absolutely need to get over that, but we have established that new high with a low at 287.03 and seeing that 292.50 resistance coming into play a little bit on the 15-minute time frame. We are still looking good. Bulls really need to hold this low 291.02. They can't let that go. We're going to look at the potential for a weird 5-minute head and shoulders pattern here, which of course would be bearish and fit that overall daily narrative because currently this is counter trend. Well, it's JVC, you missing my sultry voice. You got to be talking about somebody else. I just sound like I've drank way too much watermelon juice, which apparently is a thing. I had no idea. My wife found it, and she's just been buying just liters and liters and liters of this stuff. Okay. VIIT. All right, 7 Generations Energy kicking butt with a break over 780. Did we do that today? Or did we do that yesterday as the tip-off by 1 penny? Okay, I wouldn't consider that to be that big bull break, but we had that rejection, and that rejection from that 780 tells you everything, and then today's absolutely, the bull's just demolishing it. The only caution I would have is that we didn't have really substantial volume. This volume is slightly below average, so we need to be watching cautiously. Big moves on sub-average volume means the market doesn't necessarily agree with the action. But no real resistance in sight on the daily time frame. The next real target is $9.25. Of course, we could find some other resistances here on the 4-hour time frame. Go back historically, look around May 22nd, see what's going on there, and you will be able to find some key levels to work with from the 4-hour time frame. But daily bulls looking good. On the 4-hour, we need to see some pullback or overbought 72.33. We need to see a higher low over $77.56. Hopefully I haven't been saying 70 the whole time, but yeah, nice. Looks like a little almost in a ascending wedge with a nice breakout, and you can see how we got so close to this level and then pulled back from it. Let's go look at the 5-minute and see if we did anything like that today. So here's yesterday's trading action. 781 pullback, slight hesitation. Looks like we still held that resistance 781 and finally got over it, back tested it again. Bulls happy with the back test. Support is found, established, and then they move on. So that's the perfect opportunity. You get 2 opportunities, and I say this so many times. You get an opportunity in the break, and you get an opportunity in the pullback. Put your bid in on that pullback. Allow yourself to get as close to it as possible, and then bail on the other side. Should support fail, and you will have a lot of good profitable opportunities, and using these breaks as your tip off to watch and position yourselves accordingly. So all things looking pretty good for the VII bulls. We need that hourly pullback, we need that higher low, and we need to see strong, healthy, continued growth to get up to that 925 resistance. Okay. Oil we did already. VIX. VIX is always interesting to chart, isn't it? Well, it looks like things are starting to calm down a little bit. We are heading back down. No real support on VIX. I'm going to use this one just because we had a lot of volatility that day, and that was the furthest the bears were able to go. So that tells me that that is a good level. We don't just want to arbitrarily use lows that get established through that meandering river trading action. We want to see that whipsaw and really carve out. This was as far as the bears were able to go when they had maximum carnage, and that is your good basis support. So that is what I see on this big upper and lower wick candle, 1373 support on VIX on the daily time frame. And on the 4-hour time frame, almost overbought, but not really too worried about it at this point. We had a little bit of a bounce here, so these are the things that allow us to have that consolidation. Not unlikely that we will see that happen again. Hourly time frame oversold and really being held down by that EMA 12. So as long as this continues to happen, we bounce up, consolidate, RSI cools off, reject from EMA 12, the story will continue. And that's that. Currently looking at a Marabuzzo close, a lot of momentum behind it. It would really take the market to derail things with this nice VIX. Excuse me. Someone just asked, would I hold silver short into this weekend? I need to look at all of the time frames, and maybe we'll do that after 1 o'clock. But the pullback that I wanted to see on silver has basically executed over the last 48 hours. So we need to see what the market is going to do after that period of price discovery. So you get price discovery, you get pattern, price discovery, pattern. So we've had our price discovery. Now we need to see what the next move is. VIX hourly, is it oversold? Yes, it is. 22.13. AWK. AWK, American Waterworks. How's the long-term chart on this guy? Beautiful. It's kind of scary that water companies are the ones that are doing the strongest. I think that says a lot about where we're going. All right, weekly time frame, currently holding that EMA 12 beautifully. I'd like to see that come back down for a possible long entry. Looks like we're on our way there, upper and lower wick on today's candlestick. Probably just showing us a nice casual 4-hour downtrend. And we need to look for support at EMA 26. And we need to see if we bulls really need to hold 122.24 for potential continuation to the upside. Let's go check out that hourly time frame, see what's going on there. And we are in that hourly downtrend with a failure to get over $130 psychological. And we've established that new hourly trend. So bulls need to stay, or actually bears need to stay underneath 127.80. Look for rejection from EMA 26 again and see if they can't just keep driving this price down to establish that daily high or low. Really, this is that hourly trend is a counter trend to that daily and weekly. So those are really what give you the good opportunities. They're slow. They're not as fun as like the big MJ pops and the hype storms that you can capitalize on. But these sort of trades are your long-term consistent winners. They're going to give you smaller returns, but they're safer, they're slower, and they're easier to spot. So watch for that hourly downtrend. See what happens here as we slowly get down to that daily level. And really, we just want to see something like this. And then we stop. And we start moving back up. And that's pretty much what happens on those drops. BYOC this Sunday at noon. Again, if you are not watching BYOC, you are not getting the most out of your membership. There's so many setups and so many good learning opportunities that you are doing yourself a disservice if you are not there. KNDI. Bulls on the march, good volume today. We've broken over $5.37. Let's go check that out of the 5-minute. I always like to check out the sub time frames to see what the interaction was at these key levels, because I want to know how much does this market respect these daily resistances, and we can make a lot of decisions based on that information. But a lot of profit taking as well. Bulls buying the dip. A little bit of a mixed bag on today's candlestick. Next resistance on the daily is 562, so keep a close eye on that. Not too far away if we see another strong day. On our 4-hour time frame, one opportunity for consolidation. Currently overbought by 88 points, or 0.88, with a 70.88 RSI. Definitely would have been overbought a few hours ago when this peaked out at high day. On the hourly time frame, starting to see that hourly consolidation here, still almost overbought, 66. And on the 15-minute time frame, potentially changing the trend to a 15-minute lower high, lower low pattern. Bulls have been in control of that pattern since the 5th. So capping out with a nice overbought condition. And really no resistance at all at that 537. We just blew right through it. Well, how about that? All right, keep an eye on KNDI for continuation of the upside. We need to see some sort of more affirmative basis support established on that 5-minute time frame. But it looks like we're not incredibly liquid either, so play this one very cautiously. QSR, hourly inverse head and shoulders. You know, if you asked a regular person that question, it would probably be the most confusing thing that they've ever heard. Let's take a look. I would almost give this one to you, but we don't have a lower low on this right-hand shoulder or the right-hand side. I always get confused if this would be, never mind. Mirror images and which one's the left-hand shoulder, which one's the right-hand shoulder, it doesn't matter. But you got your low, you got your lower low, but we don't get, you know, a lower low. It just keeps climbing. So I would say no, that's not a inverse head and shoulders. I don't really know what it is, but I would just be playing this action and focusing on what's going on here and looking for resistance levels up there. So if we do that, let's go to the daily time frame, clear our charts. Looks like bulls were able, well, they fended off an attack that saw us open right at EMA 26. We saw this dip, bulls have bought it, but there is a battle taking place. We are seeing pressure from up here, from our EMA 12. We're inside this confluence, and this is a spinning top indecision candlestick. If we go to our hourly time frame, actually let's go to our 15-minute time frame and see what the story is. So we got that drop, now we're inside that channel. We can go ahead and try to determine what's going on, what fits the story the best, grab a couple data points and see what fits the most. And that's pretty much it for me. So I play this hourly trend, look for those higher highs, higher lows, see if we keep respecting these EMA levels. Our EMA 26 is really grinding that. So if we maintain this course, we have EMA support right at our trend line, and that bodes well for a more long-term 15-minute channel. So be sure to utilize that. What is our resistance on the hourly time frame? 75.97, and if we manage to break over that, we move really quickly to the downside, which means we don't have a lot of resistance in the way. So either we get exciting and we break to the upside on good volume, or we stay the course inside this channel. Either way, opportunities abound. So keep an eye on those trend lines. Make sure that you're marking in your areas of make sure you're marking in your zones of resistance and support. And as always, utilize these trend lines for visual guidance, not so much for just pure trading, if that makes any sense. 12:52 already. Man, time flies when you're talking to yourself. OH, Canada Royalty Corp. Canada Royalty Corp seeing some red, and not unexpected after how many days of green? 6 days of green in a row. We see a high, we see a pullback, and now we're trying to establish that support. Bulls can go all the way down to $6.73 and still maintain a higher low. And you know what? In fact, I'm going to change that story because I see an attack here. They got us a new lower low, and that was as far as they were able to go. So $7 psychological key level for me on OH. On the 4-hour time frame, we are in a 4-hour uptrend. Bulls need to stay over that same level to continue the upside. Hourly time frame, let's take a peek at that. We do have hourly support on deck at $7.89. If we lose that, then we are at risk of changing that hourly trend, which of course means we are going to be coming down to test, I missed this guy, our 4-hour support, $7.65. So we need to be paying attention to that one as well. But a lot of opportunities for bulls to get things under control here. This is healthy pullback, an expected pullback. Our RSI was not overbought on the 4, but it was on the hourly time frame. So as long as bulls can hold 789, things are going to be looking okay. Lose that support 765, and then 4-hour support ultimately way down at 7 psych. ACR. Oh, it's difficult for some reason. GF. Nice happy day. I like to see this. Finally over that EMA 12, the magical level, but you know what? We've done it before. And every time we've done it before, since June 25th, it's resulted in a red day. So we are still in a daily downtrend. And it's nice to see these nice moves to the upside, and they're good trading opportunities, but we need to remember what the condition of our market is in, and we need to just play cautiously, I guess is the lesson for that. Good volume today coming in though. I like to see that. Basis support on the daily time frame established, $7.04 on the hourly time frame. How are we looking? Very nice, and probably a nice 15-minute Almost an EQ. Yeah, it's an EQ. 15-minute equilibrium set up here. May look better on the 5-minute time frame. It's a little busy, isn't it? Actually, well, look at that. You see that resistance? Like there's literally a bid wall right there holding that down. An ask wall, rather. That is what I'm going to be watching. $8.74. Maybe it came into play after this high, but that's what the resistance is right now in the 5-minute time frame. And we see support currently at $8.65. Looks like it's come into play 1, 2, possibly 3 times. 3 times. Triple bottom support 5-minute, and who knows how many touches up here at our resistance. But this is a nice continuation pattern. Our RSI was overbought, now in a happy place at 51.76. If this was regular, like in the middle of the day, this would be a fantastic opportunity. Hourly does not have a lot of room to run, however, 68.21 for our current RSI. And looks like we have a support test on deck currently. So watch that one. I don't recall what we were watching on the 2-hour or CRWD 2-minute. I suspect it was just looking for that confirmation of a EMA 1226 strategy. So coming up, bouncing off of those levels over and over. All right, so summary, because I got away from me a little bit. Acreage Holdings, nice to see a strong day. Currently in a continuation pattern. Hourly is overbought. We need to see that consolidate, cool off, and we need to see more conclusive break on the daily time frame for more long-term strength. NIO on the daily. Let's clean up this chart. Goodness. Daily downtrend still intact. Current low $2.60. Bulls need to get over top of $3.27. A lot of room to play around in. Currently held down by that EMA 26, and we've been pounding that, and we have been caught right in the middle of that EMA 1226 that came into play today as a resistance, and bulls are trying to battle it out right now to get over that level. If bulls can close over this level, that will bode I don't know. It'll be a good thing for bulls if they can get over that level. I try so hard to speak with eloquence. Henry Rollins was a guy that I was really into in his spoken word albums. And one of the things that you'll notice when he speaks is he very rarely, if ever, says, because he focuses so hard on being an eloquent speaker. I've tried to emulate that, and it's really got away from me. Anyway, here we are. Bulls would love to see a break over that EMA 26. And if they can do that with strength and break yesterday's high day, we got a little room to run. We can have a lot of fun with a break over $3 psychological. Let's check out the 5-minute time frame, see what's going on. We do have that wall of resistance, $2.99. Should we get back up to that level? We're so close to that $3 break. And see, this is why it doesn't matter when you break some of these levels in pre-market, because that wall is not there to hold things down. And it's great that you can get over that $3 psychological, but you know what? If you're doing it on, minuscule volume and you don't have the retail traders who might be holding you down right now in play, it doesn't matter. You need to break these key levels during regular trading action. That's what makes it beautiful, and that's what makes things really move and get everyone excited. And you break a key level and they're all ready to play. CGC hold silver shorts into this weekend. I'm probably going to wear my khakis, or if we go swimming, I'll wear my blue shorts. Silver shorts, I'm not so much into those. CGC on the daily time frame rejected from our EMA 26. This is an indecision candlestick. Nice to see that move to the upside, but we are being range bound by those two resistance and support levels coming from the EMAs. So play those very cautiously. I would just use the low a day, high a day as key levels for resistance. Should we open inside this range tomorrow or Monday? And I would like to see us get over 29.62 for a conclusive daily trend change. And of course, we're going to have an opportunity to reload on a higher low after that is established. Our last low was 24.02. So congratulations to the true believers who loaded up down here. It's been a dark road for a long time, but you know what? We survived crypto winter. We can survive, what is this? The MJ bad spring and summer. I don't know. Looking good though. I like to see a little bit of action, but I want to see that conclusive daily strength. QQQ, could we get a... now I'm 10 minutes behind these questions. Sorry, guys. We'll go through these last few. Market is closed. What did we close at? What did we close at? Oh, didn't see. You're so far off. All right, you're fired. All right, let's take a look at AAL. AAL. And for anyone who doesn't know, we fire each other pretty much every day. I myself have been fired 3 times this week. AAL, it's a little bit all over the place, isn't it? Okay, where are we? We need to get more context. And I'm going to slow down a little bit now because the market's closed, and anyone who wants to drop off, go ahead. But I'm going to finish the tickers for the people who have asked for them. AAL, weekly downtrend. We did get that high over $3.24, $35. Actually, no, we did not. I misread that one. So we are in a weekly downtrend. However, we've established that new weekly low, which means that we are currently in an upswing. And that is going to be a good thing. We're going to be playing counter trend in any of these moves, so you need to be cautious. But we can expect to see a little bit of movement. If everything follows the same course as it has since, March 2018, we can expect to do something like that. So that gives us opportunities to play counter trend. On the daily time frame, we do have daily resistance at our high over here, 29.39. So we could look for resistance at that point and make a decision after the fact. And what else can we do here? We can play this 4-hour trend, which is currently in the favor of the bulls. And as you can see, that same sort of story really applies right here. As long as we keep setting these higher lows, things are going to be all right. So what I would look for would be a higher low on the 4-hour time frame set during regular trading action to set up a stronger position for that long-term upswing on AAL. But remember, weekly time frame still very, very bearish. So use your stop losses. And remember that you're playing counter trend, and sometimes it does not pay to buck the trend. FSM, Flying Spaghetti Monster Company. Well, this one is pretty bearish. We're seeing almost a Marabuzzo close yesterday. We saw a little bit of a pop, and Marabuzzo closed today. We do have support at $3.49. In fact, I think we've got a little bit here at $3.67. Now, there's a lot of momentum in here. We'll probably crack that very early on Monday's trading action if we continue to the downside. Those are our daily support levels. Check out our 4-hour time frame. 4 hours, not oversold. So that support test is more likely. And our hourly time frame is slightly oversold, but consolidating nicely. We need to watch what happens here on things like the 5 and 15-minute time frame and early trading action on Monday. We have a base of support of $3.69 from pre-market and from regular trading action, so that will be very important to watch as well. But right now, it looks like a short opportunity, and I would be placing my bets to the downside with a break of that $3.67 daily level. And I would set my stop losses really at this point at $3.89. But if you wanted to be more cautious, it would be $3.77. TNX. TNX on the daily. Bulls tried to make a go of it, and they were absolutely rejected. So what did we get? Our high day was... Sometimes I'm confused by the charts here, because when I look at this, I see a slight upper wick, but it's telling me that the open and the high, it's both 161. Maybe it's a decimal point thing, I don't know. But overall, a bearish day. We did hold EMA 12 support, but we have momentum to the downside. Current support for the daily bears, 143, and we have to look for support at that EMA 12 again. We did not get over 162, so it's still very much a daily downtrend. And on the hourly time frame, maybe 15 will look a little bit better. Yeah, there's that gap up for no real reason. Maybe, yeah, no real reason. And then we get beaten down. Oh, we're looking at treasury yields. Okay. 50-minute downtrend. I would ignore this and just pay attention to the fact that we are setting those lower highs, lower lows, and on the daily, pretty bearish. Unfortunately. Okay. I think we caught up to all the tickers. Yep. All right. Thank you so much for listening, guys. I will go deal with that wedding, and I'm going to do that. Well, I can't get out of it. I used to be a wedding photographer, and apparently that's what I'm doing again. So I'm cleaning all my gear, and I haven't really taken pictures for quite a long time. So we'll do that. Maybe I'll post some good ones for you guys to enjoy if you're into that. And if not, I will see you on Monday. Actually, I'm here all the time anyway. So feel free to send me a message. I'm getting geese on Sunday, so I'll post some pictures. Until then, have a fantastic weekend. Go spend time with your family. They put up with us being on these computers all the time and talking about charts incessantly. They deserve some fun too.